Okay, so I wanted to do this video for twofold. One, this is a really good app that comes with your Apple, I guess you'd call it, device. AU sound isolation. Now I put it at 70, and of course I have it set to voice. I could go high quality voice right there to see if it's a little bit better, and it actually works pretty good. I was using the Fab Filter one, but this is I don't want to say free, ain't nothing in Apple free, but a nice option to use, I'll say that, if you have Apple and you don't want to have to buy a plugin just to isolate your voice, or the background noise, I should say. So it's doing a really good job so far. This is my first trial on video, so I just wanted to do that. But I really want to show you something cool I've been doing with Playbeat. And I like Playbeat so much that I actually have it on desktop as well as on here, especially with this new AI. So I'm going to pick a BPM. We'll go with 80. And then what we're going to do, I want to maximize this so that I can show you. All right, so we're going to pick breakbeat. Let's do breakbeat. Oops. And let's just hit play. Okay, it is what it is. But let's mangle this thing a little bit, because that's what I really want to show you. So I like doing stuff like, let's put a little air on this thing. If you hear a click, what you're hearing is, I'm going to use my preset, which I call drum air. And if you want to know what drum air looks like, it's just an ambient with 9%. Kind of gives it a little, almost a room feel. And then I'm going to add desert cities. And this is where it gets crazy. I'm going to use some of the designer stuff from like Red Meat recording. This thing is sick. Or this beat texturizer. Hear that? It's like a little, it's some little extra little in there. I can't even describe it. You just gotta hear it. Cool. All right, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna show you what I like to do next. Now I'm just designing, taking something that's already there. You could take a drum beat that's not even in Playbeat and use anything. I'm just showing you. I like Playbeat for this reason, because you can create some new breaks, drum breaks. All right, so we're gonna add a little bit more to it. And one of the things I like are these Moog, different ones that you have here. So if you want a little saturation on it, sometimes I'll use this, put it up here. Gives it a little more beef, in my opinion, or a little warmth to the sound. When I say warmth, I kind of mean like the analog vibe. Okay, let's keep going. Now you could use knock for that. That works pretty good. Now this is one I'm demoing, but I don't actually own it, but I've been thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna slide this up here. So I'm just stacking stuff to make it beef up the sound, make it sound interesting. You can use Saturn as your distortion, or your saturator, I should say. ramp effect. I'm gonna put the real bus on here and tone booster. You want to tame some of them highs. You could do a subtle tape using a cassette. And I'll move this coloration up here. Take that off. Okay, cool. So this is just one of the many things. Now you could go in and generate other options. I like this right here where it's at. So what I would say at that point is you could add in another one here and maybe send this mix bus through up here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Go to the mix bus and we're sending it from A to A. And then what we're gonna do is add in Koala. So you can start building your drum breaks, multiple drum breaks. So for instance, I'm gonna go in. Now this is one thing I've said this before, probably won't happen, but I would like to see. And that is, would love to see Koala have the ability to take a pad and set a bar count. So in other words, if I wanna record in for 4 bars, I could literally press this button. Now everything that comes here is gonna go in for 4 bars. There is a way you could do it, but it's a bunch of workaround stuff, and I'm really not interested in the workaround. But for now, we have no choice. So we're gonna press record, and then we're gonna go ahead. It does have a little count thing here, but that doesn't really help me. So what I do is I watch the bar up here, then I know when to stop it. I'm gonna let it run for 8 bars, but I'm gonna stop it on the 1 or the 9, I should say. And that's how I know how I got 8 bars. There you go. So I see how I stopped it. All right, so now I have to go in and trim it. So initially it will chop the front end off, which is always a beautiful thing. So we'll go crop, and then we just gotta find where the 1 hits. So I believe the 1 hits here, but I could be wrong. But we're gonna take it there and call that it, and then hit stretch, and now you know you have an 8 bar loop, see? So now, but let's say that's just variation 1. So we're gonna go in and go tools, label it, drums, V1. And I want a couple of variations. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen in here. Now, if you don't want to add all that extra stuff with Playbeat, you can always go to export and just export the stems out. Or the MIDI, whichever one you want to do. My philosophy is I'm just trying to build breaks, so I'm not tripping. So I'm going to listen to some other ones. Here, hold on. I like that already. All right, so we're gonna build this as a little break. We don't need everything to be 8, but this is gonna be like a 2 bar break. Okay, so we're gonna press this and watch it go for 2 bars. All right, stop it there. So I'm gonna listen to it here. Well, first, you know what? Because we know that first part is right, let's just do that. So where it goes do-doom like that again, that's going to be the chopping point. Actually, we're going to keep that little part. I'm going to use my hand on the screen. Sometimes I'm using my magic keyboard, but sometimes it's easier to do that. All right, we'll go crop. And then this should be a 2 bar stretch, and it is. So there you go. So this is the break. So we'll label it as drums V2, and we know it's a 2-bar break, so we can always look in here. I like to leave the stretch on it. So this is giving me some variation. Now I might make another one, right? So let's try something else. I'm just picking one of these remix generative things here. And then so I'm just looking for the next part. That's fine, I'll take that. All right, so now we'll go ahead and do this one at 8. Lock it in there. Remember, we're going to play it all the way to 9. All right, and you can stop it here or there, whichever one you want. I'm just stopping it here. Go ahead and crop, same principle. And we got to find the ending. So a quicker way to do this is just slide your hand here and then play it. All right, so where it goes, we'll zoom in right there. And you're just capturing, I'm gonna pick that as the spot to test it. Boop, like that. So I want it to hit there and then come back in. That's fine, so we'll stretch that out. Go ahead and crop it and then stretch it. And you have 8 bars. And you can kind of see where this transient hits here. This one's close to here. This one's close to here. That is hitting pretty on, but it's a little delay in there. Remember, because we have all these delays going on. So this is version 3. V3. Okay, so now we have our parts. So we can start sequencing. So we know we're going to do, the way I like to do it at least, we're going to do 16 bars. But I'm going to have that variation come in at some point. So we might shorten one of the drums. So here, I'll show you what I mean. So I know this first one is the main one. And it's going to go. So you're going to see I'm using my hand now because it's a little bit quicker. All right, so this one's going to go here. And then this is the other one, right? So what I want to do is, I know this A2 is only like 2 bars. So I'm going to zoom in to when I see 2 bars. Drop that back and throw this one in here. There you go. So now, well, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on 1 second. There you go. And as long as you have this snap down here on, you should be pretty good. If you feel like it might be off a little bit, set it to like 1/4 or 1/8. And it should snap pretty much on for you. Okay, cool. So now you got to use the transport because we're in here. So this is just one way to do your drums. Of course, you could chop these drums up and play them back and fragments, pieces. Just whatever you prefer. The only thing is, because we can't skip ahead in Koala, so I'm not feeling the way that sounds, particularly this one. So we're just going to extend this back out, and we're just going to use those two parts. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You could use this as an intro. You know, you might be able to use that as an intro or something part, just to segue in. Because it's so different, you know. So let's see how it transitions from this one to that one. Oops. So my Bluetooth is low. All right. I think you get the point. So utilize this to, if you have Playbeat. If you don't, put a drum break in there, and then just start stacking things to beef it up, to give it some variation, some life of its own. Of course, you can chop these samples up and play them back to however you want to do. But this is just one way I like to use Playbeat or things like this in DAW. And this works with percussion too. Just to show you real quick, you could, depending on what you have in your tools, I'm going to use Shaker. Now Shaker is controlled by a keyboard, so I'm going to use the keyboard here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to just use this shaker. See how it fits? It's not fitting, but that's okay. You get the point. If you just use this, you can do the same thing. So you can record it in and then have your parts. But this is just one way to stack your effects and things using your drums to help kind of beef it up. And I wanted to do this on iOS because this is really easy on desktop. But I know on iOS it can be a little challenging, just because you need to, especially if you're using AUM, everything in audio, you have to really work hard at making sure your loops are on point, or else they'll sound really off. So yeah, check it out, try it out, see if it's for you. Take what you can from the video, and that's it for this video. I'm out.